Good evening, everybody. My name is Jim Wentz, despite my tag on my screen. I will call to order this April 1st, 2025 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Uh, Claire will be sitting for Ben this evening, and I see Sarah is just coming in. So why don't, while Sarah's coming in, Kathleen, why don't you go ahead and if you could read the notice of public hearing for us.
In accordance with the Connecticut General Statute 8-7D, a public hearing will be held on April 1st, 2025 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via fully remote Zoom meeting concerning the following: ZBA 2025-01, file number 1431, 97 Williamsburg Drive, application for proposed variance of section 3.158 to permit a 46-foot front yard setback in lieu of the 50-foot for a front porch and steps located at 97 Williamsburg Drive. Published in CT Post Wednesday, March 19th and Wednesday, March 26th, 2025.
Thank you. Can you hear us, Sarah?
Yes, I can.
Oh, hang on a second. There she is. Sarah, all right, good. So you all set, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we will go ahead. So who is representing the applicant here?
Hi, good evening. Sorry about that. I heard sir, and I thought you were addressing me.
Oh, no.
Hello, everybody. Hello, members of the board. My name's Pierre Sayers, and I'm with Sayers and Architecture. Hopefully joining me tonight are the homeowners, Jennifer and Peter Panicia, who live at 97 Williamsburg Drive. As was mentioned previously, we're here requesting you to consider a variance for section 3.1.5A to permit a 46-foot front yard setback in lieu of the required 50-foot front yard setback. We've submitted some architectural drawings and a letter detailing our hardship. So hopefully that was submitted as part of your package. And I'm not sure if this is, if I'm able to do this, but I was going to maybe walk through the drawings either with a screen share, or I can just kind of call out the drawings and you can go through it in your package, whatever is easiest.
I just made you co-host so you can share your screen and go through the drawings.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. I should have had those queued up, so bear with me. Uh, Go. All right. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so the first sheet, really the site plan, which is A100. This was a recent survey, and we're showing, you can see outlined in gray is the existing two-family residence. Currently, we have a building permit to add a second story and renovate the existing building, which we're calling phase one. This house was hit by a tree last year, so that kind of gave us a sense of urgency to just get started on that phase one construction, and that is well underway. I'd say they're about at 80% completion of the existing renovation and the second floor renovation, and there was no change in that footprint. And again, you can see that gray outline. What's in front of you today, and what we plan on submitting to the building department would be phase two, which is a proposed covered porch. And as you can see, the blue area illustrates the roof on that front porch. And we, again, we're requesting a variance on a 3.5 foot encroachment on that 50-foot yard setback. And that's illustrated on that site plan. Sheet A200 is our ground floor. I'm sorry, let me just zoom out a bit here. Yes, sheet A200 is showing the foundation plan on the lower section, and then more importantly, in gray, the proposed front porch. And that red line represents that front setback. And then, oops, sheet A201 shows that second floor addition with the roof over the covered porch. And then A700, you could see the front elevation. So that's the porch in question that's part of phase 2. And then we have just a section through that front porch.
If you can scroll up just a bit on A700 there.
Of course, yeah. You want me to zoom in?
Yes, no, that's okay. On the bottom left, on the bottom elevations, I
Yeah,
think it's pretty clear. You can see that the body of the main house is inboard of the setback, and you can see what's protruding to the left of the red dashed line, right? That's the exception that you're seeking, correct?
yes, that's exactly right.
Okay. And I just want to correct one thing. You may have you may have misspoken earlier. You said two-family house. I think you meant to make a two-story house.
Did I say two? It's a two-story house. Yes,
Okay,
thank you for that.
I just wanted to make sure. I'm pretty sure that was the case, and I thought that's what you meant to say. So, okay.
I did, and I appreciate that. Thank you. So, looking at other homes in the area, this front porch, even though it does encroach on that front setback, is very consistent with the other homes in the area. There's quite a few homes that are closer than 50 feet. We looked at the GIS. Unfortunately, it's not completely accurate, but just scaling off of the information that we had, there are quite a few homes in the area that are much closer than 50 feet. So we feel that this is keeping with the neighborhood, with the architecture of the neighborhood. We've also, I think the homeowners also included some letters of support from the neighbors, and they've been, they've discussed this request for variance with the neighbors, and there seems to be a lot of support for this, and we've included that in the application.
Just for a quick
So,
clarification, the letters of
yes.
support were received by the town March 28th. So this board does not have that in your packets, but I would be happy to read it at the appropriate time.
Thank you, and I apologize we couldn't get those to you quicker. I'd like to turn it over to Jennifer Panicia. Hopefully she's on. Jennifer,
Yep.
can you hear me?
If you could stop,
I'm sorry.
screen, if you can take the screen share off, then we can see everybody for a minute.
Gotcha. Sorry about that.
I think it's pretty, yeah, at least from my perspective. I'll open up to questions in a minute, but the homeowner, if she has anything she wants to say.
Okay, stop share. Here we
There you
go.
go. There she is.
Yep. Ready for me?
Sure.
All right. I'm just going to read something I wrote because I am not good on the fly. So our house is currently being repaired due to damage by a tree that fell in a storm in August. Today we've come before the board, myself and my husband, to ask for a variance to put a porch along the front of the house. Due to the damage from the tree, we weren't able to salvage the one that was previously there. The previous stoop was a small stone landing that didn't fit myself and both of my kids as we were coming in from school and trying to open the door. So during our planning phase, we decided, since we do need to rebuild a new entry anyways, that we would like to put a larger porch with plenty of space and a landing that would be bigger and safe enough that everyone can be standing on it when we're trying to get in the door. The previous door we had would swing out further than the length of the end of the landing, so we would be forced to step backwards down the stairs to get the door open and to get in the house through our main entryway. To stay within the setback, we would not be able to create an easily accessed or comfortable entryway, and we would be in the same situation, stepping backwards off the landing and down the stairs. On multiple occasions, we've had young kids in the neighborhood and trick-or-treaters fall backwards off of the landing we had and down the stairs when we were opening the door. Our old entry was also trouble for our grandparents when they would come to visit. It was a very difficult path and the stairs were short. The landing was undersized. So most of the time they would have to walk through our backyard and use the deck with a railing just to get inside our house, which was not by any means ideal, easy, or safe. When our house was built, an easier entryway was not considered. A hardship was created in that a comfortable sized landing or porch would not be possible without a variance. We've talked to the surrounding neighbors about our request for variance, and everyone has been very understanding and supporting of us. We've included those letters. They are from the two houses that directly face us. So today we're asking for your approval for a variance rather than having to make a narrow landing with an awkward set of stairs, that you would allow us to build a safer and more accessible approach with an encroachment into the 50-foot setback by 3.5 feet. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any members of the board have any questions? Just raise your hand and I can just kind of recognize you if there's any questions from the applicant. I don't. Oh, I'm sorry, Margaret. I see the hand up.
Thank you, James. I was hoping I wasn't invisible. It's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that once a porch is enclosed, once there's no access, there's a roof over it, or if it's enclosed, that it's considered basically to be part of the house and has to be considered for provisions of a setback. Is that correct?
Correct. So that's what they're coming for, is because they're covering the roof. It is a structure in the zoning code. However, I do want to clarify, the steps are not included in this. The zoning code has an exemption for the steps of that size. So they're really just asking for the encroachment of the covered porch.
Okay, correct. So basically, it would not be a hardship then, if I understand correctly, if they could build the porch to the desired depth without putting a roof on it, and thereby would not be having to go through this variance process. It would otherwise, because is that correct? There'd be no, this would not be a hardship. If there would be no hardship if they did not cover the roof.
Well, I think the question is better stated as would they need a variance if they didn't do the roof? Or
maybe that's
rather than asking about a judgment on hardship, the question is, would they need a variance if the roof was not included?
Correct.
I have to look at it the way our zoning code has to deal with the concrete pad and then the grade around the pad. So I think they probably would, because you have more of a grade difference around the concrete pad than 1 foot. Is that correct?
Oh, it's definitely more than that, yes.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of different projects today, so sometimes they all kind of mesh together. So so because it's more than 1 foot of the grade around, it's actually then put into a threshold of a structure, so they need a variance for even the pad.
Even for the pad, okay.
And I don't mean to interject. What is required in order for you guys to meet the building code? Because you keep saying about safety and comfortability, but I think there's also a code issue that you're trying to rectify with the variance as well, correct?
Yes, I'm not sure. I believe the code is a 36-inch landing.
Which is not what you
but-
guys have now, correct?
Which is what we're in front of you, or what is there now, or what was there
What's
prior?
existing?
What's existing? I
Nothing
believe
left.
it's less, yes.
It was less than 36? Yeah. My husband said it was less than 36, but it was also destroyed. It's not,
Understood.
unfortunately, salvageable.
Margaret, do you have another question, or?
I was trying to clarify that because otherwise I could not see that this would be approved under a hardship situation if it was going to be covered.
But yes, to answer your question, both covered or uncovered due to the grade around it, it's considered a structure under the code and they would need a variance.
Okay, very well, because I did go out and look at the properties all around the area and none of them have a porch of that dimension. The homes primarily are smaller and they have much just regular landing pads. So, okay, I yield. It's done.
Anybody else have any questions? Ron?
Oh, I'm muted. There we go. In the various responses from neighbors, I'm assuming the standard letters went out to everybody. Were there
Yep.
any objections received?
We did not see any objections. We did receive 2 letters of support, one from 100 Williamsburg Drive and another from 92. Those are not the neighbors on either side. The neighbors on either side are 93 and 107. This is the neighbor directly across the street and then catty corner across the street. So no objections and 2 letters of support.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I don't see anybody else, so I'm gonna close the public hearing for this matter. Thank you. I appreciate your presentation. I'll have more to say on that later, but I will say, for the sake of this record, I don't know, Kathleen, if there's anybody joining us by phone that we can't see. I will ask for the sake of the record, if there's any member of the public that wishes to be heard on this matter, please say so now. I don't think so, because I don't see anybody other than the applicants and the board members. But hearing none, I will close the public hearing on this matter, and we will move on to the deliberative portion of this program here. I'm looking at my minutes, not the agenda. I'm sorry. So the first matter that we have on is the minutes for January the 7th. And again, now that we're in deliberative session, it will be the regular members and Claire voting at this point. I just have one comment on the January 7th minutes. In the very beginning, it said that Chairman Maini called the meeting to order. I think that was probably a holdover from a previous set of amendments. I was listed as present at that. So that's just, I think, perhaps a cut and paste from a previous set of minutes, but everything else in the minutes looked fine by me. But with that,
Yes, we can make
with
that
that minor
amendment.
correction, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of January the 7th.
So moved.
All right, moved by Ron. Is there a second to the motion to approve?
I'll second.
Thanks, Sarah. All those in favor of the approval of the minutes as corrected of January 7th, raise your hand or say aye.
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 Okay, that is a unanimous approval. We move on to this pending matter here that we just heard. Fairly straightforward proposal. I have some comments, but I'll wait till we have a motion on the floor. Does anybody wish to make a motion on this application?
I would motion to approve.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Ron, very good. Sarah, do you have any comments?
Sure, I think I would motion to approve based on it being a minor increase off of the existing, or actually off of the setback. It's not too much encroachment, and based on the functionability that's going to be obtained by the improvements being made for the homeowner, I think it warrants the variance.
Okay, thank you. Ron, do you have any, as the seconder, do you have any comments?
Now, Sarah pretty much expressed what I was feeling also. From the standpoint of hardship, it's a 50-50 toss-up whether it's an actual hardship or not, but I can understand the potential danger of being constrained to a narrow entranceway, not having a good solid landing in front of that door.
Okay. I don't disagree with any of that. I think just from a visual perspective, I think this is a handsome addition to the house, and just from the scale of the what's being proposed, I think the front porch really gives it a much nicer look. Yeah, if it was just a smaller stoop type entrance, could it be functional? Sure, it could. But I just think from the neighborhood perspective, it just makes it even more of a handsome residence for the neighborhood to have that open front porch. So while it may not be the most tightest hardship argument in the world, I just think from a benefit to the neighborhood perspective, given the fact that we've got neighborhood support, and I just think, at least from my eye, I think it's visually much more appealing to the neighborhood to have a nice open porch there than a smaller stoop. I would also support this this application. Christina or Claire, do you have anything to add before we vote?
I would approve it just to bring safety to the landing and to bring it up to code. I drove through the neighborhood also.
Yep.
And I saw the other houses too.
Anything else? Are we prepared to vote? The motion on the floor is to approve the application as proposed. All those in favor of the application say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That looked to be a 5-0 vote to approve. Good luck and continued with the continued completion of your renovation project.
Thank you all, and we appreciate it, and we're looking forward to getting started on the
Very good.
on phase 2. Thank you.
Oh, good luck
Thank
to
you
you.
very much. I appreciate it.
So we have next on the agenda is organizational meeting and election of officers. And I had asked Kathleen a while back to put that on because we haven't voted for officers in quite a while. But since Ben is not here, it's I believe our bylaws say that all the regular members need to be present. So we'll put this off until we are all present. But I just wanted to clue in the rest of the membership to a conversation, not really a conversation, some email conversation I've had with Ben and offline. And I just think I've been chairman of this board for over 20 years, and I'm willing to continue to serve in that capacity. But I believe for the long-term benefit for transition and the health of the organization, I reached out to Ben to see if he would be interested in swapping roles and taking on the chairmanship. I've been doing this a long time. I'm still willing to continue to do it, but that's not going to last forever. So I think it would behoove the board to have someone else have some experience in that role. And Ben, as the vice chairman, has led meetings in my absence, I think capably. And I think what I proposed to him, and you know, I don't have a solid yes from him yet, but I don't want anybody to be surprised when we discuss this, that I would encourage the board to support Ben rising from vice chairman to chairman, and I would stay on in whatever help he needs. I don't think you need, for those of you that don't know, I am a land use planner and have been one for 38 years, but you don't need to be, you don't need to be an expert to serve in this capacity. And the role of the chair is really more about being able to run an efficient meeting rather than being a land use expert. And I think Ben is perfectly capable and suited to doing that. So when the time comes, we'll have this conversation, but I didn't want anybody to be taken aback or be unaware that I've been having an offline conversation with Ben because I think he would be a capable chair. And if any of you because he's, I think, you know, aside from myself, has been has the longest tenure on this board. So that's the kind of direction I'd like to head. I'm not stepping away, but I'd support him and coach him up to the extent that he even needs any kind of coaching up. And so when the time comes, when I no longer am a member of this board, that we can have a smoother transition. So that's the kind of what I've been thinking going forward. There's nothing immediate about my departure. I've just been thinking about that since I just recently retired from employment with the town of Fairfield this week after 38 years. So I don't know. I'm not going anywhere. I still enjoy serving the town, but I just think for the health of this board, it may make sense to have some transition rather than having the same chair over so many years. But I don't know if anybody has any. We don't need to have it. If you want to have comments on that, I'm welcome that, but we'll put this off to another day. But I'd welcome any comments if anybody has anything to say about that. Okay.
The only comment I will add is technically our bylaws require a chair and a secretary. I don't know
Oh.
why we don't have a secretary at the moment. Secretarial position really isn't much typically on other commissions. They take the lead on checking meeting minutes, and usually track alternates. Is usually what secretaries on other boards and commissions have. So
Do the secretary, the secretary sign the minutes, or does the you as the clerk just sign the minutes?
we don't, because it's all digital now, nobody's actually signing the
Okay.
minutes. Once you guys approve it, we really just process it and give it to the town clerk. So there's no
Okay.
actual like.
So actually, our bylaws don't
happening.
even have a vice chairman position, is what you're saying.
Correct. We don't have a vice chair, but we do have a secretary.
Okay. All right. So food for thought, but I am correct, right? That all 5 regular members need to be
Yeah.
present for us to vote on.
And I think we should. I think
Yeah,
everybody.
it just makes sense
Yeah,
anyway.
just practicality wise too.
All right. Well, if anybody has interest in seeking out or more information on the role of secretary, if you're interested in that, please reach out to Kathleen and have a conversation about that to see what that might entail. So when this is next up on the agenda, we can know. Is there anything else we need to talk about, Kathleen?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate your time and attention. Have a great rest of the week.
Have a great rest of the week, everybody.
You too.
Take care all. Bye.
Yep,
Bye-bye.
Have a good week.